was
filmed by...
This comes first.
Tom Cameron Quaid.
Ted Huntley.
David Fraser, John Chen. Tom Brokaw.
The Schiavo case. Lawyers for Terri Schiavo's parents admit their legal battle is all but over as her father makes another emotional plea. Holy Week. A frail pope misses tonight's vigil, but the Vatican says he will appear briefly on Easter Sunday. In-depth, living wills. Some surprising advice from experts you should discuss with your family. Surviving a crash, making it safer to fly.
We just can't stress enough the importance of people to get up and get out.
And to the rescue. The first cavalry rides in to save the Arabian horses from Saddam's old stables.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with John Siegenthaler.
Good evening, everyone. Terri Schiavo's parents are running out of options tonight. Their attorneys said today that they have filed their last appeal in the Florida Supreme Court after a series of last-minute pleas to other courts over the past week have all been rejected. With emotions running high and more protesters gathering outside the hospice, both sides held press conferences today and gave different descriptions of Terri Schiavo's condition. We begin our coverage with NBC's Mark Potter in Pinellas Park, Florida. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, John. Emotions are indeed running high outside the hospice, where protesters are disappointed and angry that all they can do now is wait and pray. Under police escort, Terri Schiavo's father and sister emerged from another visit to the hospice. Bob Schindler said his daughter is doing better than he expected today, but is showing signs of dehydration on this, the 9th day without her feeding tube.
So she's putting up a tremendous battle to live. And it's quite obvious she's not throwing the towel in. She doesn't want to die. And she's showing signs of over a week now of starvation.
George Filos, the attorney for Schiavo's husband, Michael, offered a different picture.
In all the years I've seen Mrs. Schiavo, I've never seen such a look of peace and beauty upon her.
Oh, please let me live.
On the legal front, it appears the fight is all but over now.
I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink.
After losing yet another federal appeal, David Gibbs, the parent's attorney, said there was nothing more he could do for her in U.S. courts. When he lost another case today in state court, he appealed to the Florida Supreme Court, but had little hope for success. The parents' supporters are disappointed.
This indicates that we have a serious imbalance in powers now. You know, that we have basically what the judiciary says is the ultimate word.
But Attorney Filos applauded the apparent end of years of bitter litigation, suggesting it might also be Terri Schiavo's wish.
If there's anything that I think Mrs. Schiavo would want is not only to die with dignity and peace, but to also have the country at peace over this matter.
Crowds outside the hospice swelled today as more protesters arrived on scene. And tonight, the Florida Supreme Court dismissed the parents' appeal, an 11th hour defeat in their legal fight. John?
NBC's Mark Potter. Mark, thank you. When Congress tried to intervene in this case more than a week ago, some politicians claimed it was not about politics, but about saving a life. Yet as this story unfolds before the nation, there are new concerns about the political fallout. Here's NBC's Nora O'Donnell.
It is a case that has not only divided Terri Schiavo's family,
Michael Schiavo deserves a medal,
but the rest of the country as well.
I think this is the biggest injustice I've ever seen in the United States.
With some frustrated activists now threatening to force a political backlash.
If she dies, there is going to be hell to pay with the pro-life, pro-family, Republican people of various legislative levels, statewide and federal-wide, who have used pro-life, pro-family, conservative rhetoric to get into power.
It's been 1 week since the president abruptly left his ranch and flew back to Washington to join Congress in an unprecedented government intervention into the Schiavo case. Now there's growing evidence that even the president's political base believes Washington shouldn't have gotten involved.
People look at these decisions as very personal. They see it as decisions they themselves and their families make. They don't want the government involved, period.
According to a new Time magazine poll, 3/4 of Americans said it was wrong for Congress to intervene, including 68% of Republicans. 70% said it was wrong for President Bush to get involved. More than half said they would be more likely to vote against their congressman if he or she voted for the bill that sent the Schiavo case to federal courts. But Republican pollster Frank Luntz believes any political effect will wear off.
By the time of the next election cycle, they won't even remember the woman's name.
Democrats have been virtually silent. Ed Schultz hosts the largest progressive radio show in the country.
I think a lot of Democrats are being quiet about this because they don't want this coming back at them in a political campaign where people will say in a commercial, so-and-so voted for death.
It is a delicate political matter.
This has been the hottest topic on talk radio since the start of the war.
So hot and volatile that the same politicians who thrust this case into the national spotlight a week ago have now virtually withdrawn as public opinion has begun to solidify. Nora O'Donnell, NBC News, Crawford, Texas.
President Bush said today he's praying for the families of the 9 people killed in the tragic shooting rampage in Minnesota this week. Funerals were held for 3 of the victims in the small Native American community of Red Lake in northern Minnesota. NBC's Kevin Tibbles is there.
Today, hundreds of Red Lake residents, those he served as a police sergeant, came to honor 58-year-old Darrell Lucier. Lucier was gunman Jeff Weiss's grandfather, one of the first to be killed in Monday's rampage. His funeral and that of his companion Michelle Sagana, attended by police officers from throughout Minnesota, neighboring states, and Canada, along with government officials.
It's a sad, sad day for everybody up here.
Friday, the president telephoned the Red Lake Tribal chairman with condolences, and in today's weekly radio address, spoke of the nation's obligation to lend support.
As we help the families in this community, we must do everything in our power to prevent tragedies like this from happening.
Today is the first of 3 days of funerals in a community where everyone has been touched by this tragedy. Red Lake is beginning the painful process of saying goodbye. Another funeral for 15-year-old Chase Lucier, barely a man and yet a father who leaves behind a 1-year-old son.
He may not have his dad, but he has the rest of us.
As the private funerals were being held, 2 more of the lucky ones, Ryan Oganish and Lance Crow, were released from the hospital, still injured and shaken.
It's kind of creepy, but I survived. We just had the gun pointed at me and it was too late.
As survivors recover, 2 more remain in critical condition. The painful job for those left living to put this shattered community back together.
We will recover. It might take a long time, no, maybe years, but just love will keep us together.
Kevin Tibbles, NBC News, Red Lake, Minnesota.
As Catholics around the world prepare to celebrate Easter tomorrow, many are praying for Pope John Paul II. For the first time in his papacy, the Pope will not take part in the Easter services because of his failing health. NBC's Keith Miller reports tonight from the Vatican.
A solemn ceremony tonight inside St. Peter's Basilica. The Easter Vigil Mass made even more poignant by the absence of Pope John Paul. He was the one who would light the first candle, bringing the Basilica from darkness to light. In his place, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, head of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. He has an influential voice in the Vatican and one day could be Pope. But tonight he delivered a brief message from John Paul, wishing everyone a happy Easter. The Pope, who has missed all of the Easter week ceremonies, was following the service on television in his apartment. He did appear to the crowds Friday night on a video hookup during the Stations of the Cross ceremony at Rome's Colosseum. This is the new phase in the papacy, imposed by John Paul's frailty. It may be electronic, but for some people it's good enough.
I think that he knows what he can do. He knows his limitations right now.
Rome's La Repubblica newspaper declared the throne of St. Peter is deserted, reporting that the Pope is now just a symbol who speaks by showing his body. The publisher of John Paul's latest book, Memory and Identity, says the Pope will serve his church to the end.
I think it would be true to himself, and it would be much better for the church if he were allowed to complete his mission.
Despite concern for his health, Vatican officials insist John Paul is lucid and continues to make decisions. Easter Sunday is one of the most joyous days in the Christian calendar, and officials here say John Paul will be making an appearance. It may just be a silent prayer. Still, for many people here, that would be reason enough to celebrate. Keith Miller, NBC News, the Vatican.
Now to our Iraq watch. A car bomb in Baghdad has killed 2 American soldiers on patrol. U.S. troops also took part in a raid south of the city, rounding up more than 100 suspected insurgents, along with tons of weapons. And in Afghanistan, it was the deadliest day for U.S. forces in nearly a year. 4 soldiers traveling just south of the capital were killed when a landmine exploded under their Jeep. It was not clear whether the mine was new or left over from the country's many long wars. It's been exactly 3 months since the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami. Across the region, special prayer ceremonies mark the day. Even as rebuilding continues, there's still communities where roads don't reach. NBC's Ned Colt reports tonight from one of those towns, the village of Lemno on Indonesia's west coast.
By ground, Lemno would be an 18-hour bone-jarring trip in the toughest of four-wheel drives, navigating through all sorts of hazards and detouring miles around a dozen washed-out bridges. But by helicopter, it's just 20 minutes along barren coastline, backing up to mountainous jungle. More than a dozen helicopters a day make the flight from Banda Aceh to Lemno, some carrying aid workers, most packed with assistance. This is a town that needs all it can get, a mile inland, and almost nothing is left standing. 2 of every 3 residents in the fishing community were killed in the tsunami, though the population has swelled from the arrival of survivors from further down the coast. Survival here is hand-to-mouth, aid passed out from a World Food Program tent.
So he's got infections on his head, on his face, on his
Volunteer physicians from America are tending to survivors.
And we're especially worried about the communicable diseases, malaria, diarrhea, that kind of stuff. If that comes in here, we got to be ready.
What work there is funded by aid agencies, unloading boats bringing in food and building material, scavenging in the debris, or the never-ending job of cleaning up. We want to move back and rebuild our homes, says this fisherman, but the government won't let us. The Indonesian government is reluctant to allow any rebuilding within a mile of the shore, fearing another tsunami. Even if the fishermen are able to return to the coast and somehow rebuild their homes, they still have to earn a living, and there's no way to do that with their boats and nets damaged or gone. Months after the tsunami, Lemno remains a place like many other coastal communities here, all but cut off from the outside world, yet reliant on that same world for survival. Ned Colt, NBC News, Lemno, Indonesia.
When NBC Nightly News continues this Saturday, in-depth living wills. Would you be ready in a medical crisis? And a labor of love, mounting an unusual rescue mission in Iraq.
Hey, Angie, you going to the post office? Hey, Ted, you going to the post office? Do I know you? Anyone go to the post office? Jeff. Ronnie? Connie. Isn't anyone going to the post office?
Hey, Chuck. Can't go to the post office? Go to USPS.com.
From buying stamps to shipping packages, almost anything you do at the post office, you can do at USPS.com. It's how the U.S. Postal Service is working for you.
Hey, Steve. Lunch? Item 7. What flavors do you taste?
Cool Ranch and Cheddar.
Bold.
Cool Ranch and Cheddar.
Item number 8.
Brownies.
Oh,
Cool Ranch and Cheddar. Cool Ranch and Cheddar.
New Twister's Cool Ranch and Cheddar from Cheez-It.
Who will call 911 when the airbags deploy?
Or tell us where we are when we're lost.
Who can tell us if to check engine light, something serious?
Or no big deal.
Who will unlock our car?
When we leave the keys in it.
Who can help the police track a carjacking with my little brother inside?
Someone should.
Someone should.
Can't
Cats can't resist Whiskas' new meaty selections. It's our meatiest tasting cat food ever.
Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
You know that summer home you've always dreamed of building here?
Yeah. What about it?
Well, I've been thinking. If we juggle some things in the portfolio, I think we could make that happen a little sooner than we thought.
Oh, wow. That would be great. Hon, what do you think?
Sweet. When you work with a Morgan Stanley financial advisor, you get someone unusually devoted to your dreams, one client at a time.
Nature fanatic, sandal wearer, health nut. Grape nut cedars have been called many things.
Bear. Bear. Bear!
Fortunately, they haven't heard a word of it.
Hey, this is really beautiful. You should have...
The unique nutty crunch and delicious taste of grape nuts. Live life your own way.
NBC News in depth tonight. Living wills. As the debate has raged over Terry Schiavo, the interest in living wills has increased. But would you know how to prepare one properly to make sure you and your family are prepared? Here's NBC's Rosalind Jordan in depth.
A medical crisis. Families forced to decide whether a loved one should live or die. According to AARP, only 25% of American families have a living will to guide them. If you decide you want one, what should you do? Do you need a lawyer? Charles Sabatino of the American Bar Association says you can get the appropriate forms online or from your local hospital.
Normally, you don't need to see a lawyer, although a lawyer can be of help, particularly if you have a particularly contentious family or have very unusual wishes.
Is it just one form? Many states require two, a living will and a separate durable power of attorney for health care.
That is simply a document that appoints someone whom we call your agent or proxy. It differs from state to state, who is authorized, who has the legal authority to make decisions on your behalf.
Can your wishes be ignored? Sabatino says yes.
Emergency services personnel have a legal obligation when they get to the scene and there's a crisis to basically jump on you and get your heart beating again.
How often should it be updated? The American Bar Association says you should use the 5 Ds. Every decade, after the death of a loved one, divorce, a serious diagnosis, or a decline in your health.
Documents are only worth the discussion that they're based on. So if they haven't
Sabatino says people need to do more than name a proxy.
The real process is making sure people understand what you want and when you want it.
Because in the end, a living person is the best guarantee for your living will. Rosalind Jordan, NBC News, Washington.
This program note, join Tim Russer tomorrow for a special edition of Meet the Press. Tim will talk with a panel of leading theologians and writers as part of the NBC News series, Faith in America. And I'll be right back with Safety in the Skies. What does it take for you to survive a crash?
Lots of Toyota cars, hundreds of choices, dozens of options. Toyota's nationwide spring sales event. Thousands of amazing values. It's not just a sale, it's an event. Now choose your favorite Camry, America's #1 selling car, or the sporty Corolla. It's among the lowest fuel cost in its class. And now's a great time to get a Prius. And don't miss the all-new 05 Avalon. Toyota's nationwide spring sales event. Only at your Toyota dealer. Quality, selection, value. Now that's moving you forward.
Cats can't resist Whiskas' new meaty selections. It's our meatiest tasting cat food ever.
You know about Allegra, but you should know about Allegra D. It just may be music to your ears. Ask your doctor about Allegra D. You need to know about it.
Item 7. What flavors do you taste?
Cool Ranch and Cheddar.
Bold.
Cool Ranch and Cheddar.
Item number 8.
Brownies.
Oh,
Cool Ranch and Cheddar. Cool Ranch and Cheddar.
New Twister's Cool Ranch and Cheddar from Cheez-It.
Millions of us are hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS. The cause? For most, it was blood platelets that formed clots which blocked blood from getting to the heart. Think aspirin and your other heart medications alone are enough? One more thing could help make a difference. Ask your doctor about adding Plavix. Added to aspirin and your current treatment, Plavix goes beyond what you're taking to help raise protection against heart attack or stroke. Plavix and your other medications work in different ways. Plavix, taken with aspirin, plays its own role in keeping blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots, which helps keep blood flowing.
If you have a medical condition that causes bleeding, such as a stomach ulcer, you shouldn't use Plavix. The risk of bleeding may increase with Plavix, and when you take Plavix with certain other medications, including aspirin, review your medicines with your doctor to minimize this risk. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Add Plavix for more protection against heart attack or stroke.
In central Pennsylvania, a plane crash has killed 6 people, 2 of them children. All were residents of Rhode Island traveling in a single-engine plane. Officials say the plane went down near the town of Bellefonte, close to a jail under construction. There have actually been far fewer plane crashes in the past year than at any other time. Aviation officials say 2004 was the safest ever for airline travel. 428 deaths out of 1.8 billion passengers. And even when crashes do occur, there are many more survivors. Here's NBC's Tom Costello.
From the wreckage of a corporate plane in New Jersey last month, smoke and flames. Yet somehow everyone on board survives. Kirksville, Missouri, last October, 15 die, yet 2 survive a commuter plane crash. And Little Rock, Arkansas, nearly 6 years ago, 12 die, but 134 survive a violent DC-9 crash. The good news, plane crashes are rare, but experts say when they do happen, they don't have to be deadly. FAA Administrator Miriam Blakey.
Most of the crashes, or many of the crashes we have, are survivable if you get out in time and you retard the fire.
Very often, that means passengers have less than 2 minutes before a fuel fire with deadly smoke eats through the fuselage and consumes the interior. At an FAA test center in Oklahoma City, a simulated plane crash and the challenge to get out of a dark, smoke-filled cabin in just 90 seconds. Quickly, the cabin begins to fill with smoke. Passengers should be moving towards the exit down the track lighting and trying to stay low below the smoke. 30 seconds now, and the smoke is very dense. At 60 seconds, the fumes are now toxic, and the temperature is rising quickly. 90 seconds, and right now, this smoke could be deadly. Ideally, every passenger should be off the plane. David Palmerton researches cabin safety for the FAA.
We just can't stress enough the importance of people to get up and get out.
And never waste precious time grabbing for your carry-on luggage.
I would try to stay low, keep my head down around the top of the seat backs, using the seat backs and the armrests in order to get all the way out.
And planes are now made to survive crashes, more sturdy with flame-retardant interiors and newer seats.
The seat back is made to absorb energy
that bend and fold forward in an accident instead of the old seats that would catapult passengers forward. All of it making flying the safest way to travel. Tom Costello, NBC News, Oklahoma City.
From London comes word of the death of former Prime Minister James Callaghan. His term from 1976 to 1979 saw a wave of strikes, paving the way for the reforms of Margaret Thatcher. Lord James Callaghan was 92. When NBC Nightly News returns this Saturday, surviving Saddam, some fabled horses get help from the U.S. cavalry.
Finding your way through the financial maze can be difficult. That's what we're in. So let us help you reach your goal.
You know about Allegra, but you should know about Allegra D. It just may be music to your ears. Ask your doctor about Allegra D. You need to know about it.
Who will call 911 when the airbags deploy?
Or tell us where we are when we're lost.
Who can tell us if to check engine light is something serious?
Or no big deal.
Who will unlock our car?
When we leave the keys in it.
Who can help the police track a carjacking with my little brother inside?
Someone should.
Someone should.
Let's talk about better. When someone says something's better, it's usually just their opinion. So if you suffer from acid reflux disease, frequent heartburn, and I told you prescription Nexium heals acid-related damage in the esophagus better, you'd want proof. And now, your doctor has that proof. Recent medical studies prove Nexium heals that damage better than the other leading prescription medicine. No wonder they call Nexium the healing purple pill. This is big news, so call your doctor today and ask if Nexium is right for you. Because if left untreated, the damage could get worse. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Hey, with Nexium, you don't just feel better, you are better. And better is better. For a free trial offer for Nexium, visit us at NexiumProof.com or call 1-800-4NEXIUM.
Sunday, a special edition, Faith in America. As many Americans celebrate Easter, a look at the role religion plays in politics. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Safeguarding your 401k money, NBC Nightly News, Monday.
And finally tonight, a very special mission for some of America's military forces in Iraq. It involves acts of kindness and goodwill and a group of majestic animals prized around the world. Here's NBC's Mark Mullen in Baghdad.
These Arabian horses are a living symbol of Iraqi pride. The Arabian breed regarded here as a gift from God, with the oldest pure bloodline and a storied history.
What it allowed the Bedouin people thousands of years ago to do is to communicate farther distances, to bring different civilizations together.
These rare horses also stand apart because they belong to Saddam Hussein, who rode them at ceremonial events and for pleasure. Then came the war. The Arabian horses, more than 100 of them, were stabled near a site the U.S. military believed was one of Saddam's hiding places. A cruise missile was launched, the target was destroyed, and so were the nearby stables along with some of the horses. The remaining Arabians either ended up stolen or scattered around Baghdad. Of the 19 rounded up, most were in bad shape, so members of the U.S. Army stepped in. Kathy Kanaki, Army veterinarian, now treats them.
Many of them were in poor body condition, a lot of trouble with respiratory disease.
Also to the rescue, real-life Texas cowboys, soldiers from Fort Hood, part of the historic 1st Cavalry Division, which helped settle the American West on horseback. These modern-day troops helping Iraqis better care for the Arabians, which now live in new Army-built stables.
Just sharing what we have knowledge of. I mean, just this area, for instance, behind us it's pretty much built like our stables back home, isn't it?
Word of these Arabians spread to American horse lovers like Ed Little Fox Copeland in North Carolina, who launched TAC for Iraq, which collects saddles and other supplies to send to Baghdad.
Horse people are horse people. I don't care whether they speak Arabic or whether they speak English.
A goodwill effort by civilians and soldiers after the horses became an unintended casualty of war.
That's kind of our policy, that if we break somebody's stuff, we try to fix it.
The goal now is to equip the Iraqis to care for their horses and grow the priceless herd. Already, there are several new foals. A small campaign by Americans to show respect to a troubled country and an honored living tradition. Mark Mullen, NBC News, Baghdad.
That's NBC Nightly News for this Saturday. Thanks for watching. I'm John Siegenthaler reporting tonight from New York, and for all of us here at NBC News, good night.
NBC News, America's news leader.
Monday on NBC Nightly News. Imagine retiring and finding out your 401k money has been stolen. It's happening more and more. The fleecing of America. Plus, worried about college costs? Unusual scholarships your kids may qualify for.
Industrial